Hello and welcome to Two Chicks and a Horror Flick. I'm Tawny Ray.
And I'm Felicia Connor.
And today we're going to be talking about Spiral from the Book of Saw.
Yes.
Just opened over the weekend. So brand new, so fresh.
Are they all from the book? Like, is there the Book of Saw? No? Okay. When I saw that, I was like, oh, I missed something in the other ones.
Yeah, no. I think they just created that for this movie. So this just came out, I think, on Friday. And we went and saw it this weekend. Mm-hmm. And before we get into any more of that, I guess, Felicia, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking water. A whole lot of water. I was really sick this weekend. And so I am hydrating. That might be why I look a little pale too. But just, go with it. I could put some of my lip gloss on my cheeks. This is plumping lip gloss, though. That might hurt.
I don't know if you want to plump your cheeks.
I might look like I was in Saw.
Yes, with those cheeks. Yes. Should just draw a little spiral on her cheek.
Oh, I shoulda. But yeah, I'm having water. What about you?
I'm drinking just like a little old-fashioned. It's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice. With which Buffalo Trace?
Yep. Buffalo Trace always. Pretty plain over here, so that's what I got going on.
I don't think you could get plainer than water.
Yeah, I know. That is about it. Jake did... After we went to go see the movie last night, though, we went to this place, this new restaurant, and he got a new fashioned, whatever that is. I don't really know what the difference is, honestly. It just seemed like an old fashioned without ice. But they did put like maple syrup in it, so it was really, really sweet, and I liked it a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, that was my kind of drink.
That sounds really good, actually.
Yeah. I feel like we don't have much to catch up on because we already talked like 2 days ago for our other episode.
And I didn't watch anything.
Yeah.
Nada. Just this movie. I watched it this morning. So it's Sunday. And we went to the movie theater. And it was a matinee as well. And my husband goes, because it was empty, it was just us. And he's like, well, probably not a bunch of people are rushing to see Spiral after church. And I was like, oh shit, you're right. I said, everybody that comes in, I should shake their hands. And then I thought, well shit, I should have been wearing a Two Chicks and a Horror Flick shirt. And I should have little cards, because everybody in there watching Spiral on a Sunday afternoon is probably my people.
Was there anybody in there at all? Then
finally some people came. I would say 8 additional people.
Okay. We went to go see it on Saturday night, 7:30, p.m. There was literally only one other set of people in the theater with us. And it was like a group of 3. Like, that was it. No one else in the theater. Isn't that weird? Because it was like opening weekend.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I get it. I had more people on a after church Sunday matinee.
Right. I know. Yeah. Because that makes sense. It's like early. Yeah. Like, who wants to go see a horror movie as early as possible, right? Like, you guys did that out of necessity, not because it's your preference.
We had to so we could record. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's crazy.
Weird. Uh-oh. I was weirded out by that, dude. I was like, where are all the people?
So you don't have opening weekend numbers yet, obviously, because we're in the opening weekend.
Yeah, I didn't look for it either. So we'll have to update. We'll have to look later.
Crazy.
But I wonder if it's going to flop. I mean, I don't know. That's just one tiny little anecdotal thing. But...
I mean, we only had a few more people. This is probably all the people in my town. Oh, I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, for sure you're in a bigger town than me, probably, I think.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, what an experience. Back to the theater. First time in a long time.
Yep.
First Saw movie in a long time. Well, few years, but since the last one. So yeah, I guess we can just kind of jump in here. But first I do want to know how far you got, because we talked about like, okay, let's binge these movies before we go see Spiral.
Yeah.
How far did you get?
I did 3 of them.
Okay.
I got, yesterday when I was ill all day. That was going to be like another binge day for me, but I didn't watch anything. So I got 3 of them, and I liked all 3.
Okay, so that was 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I did it right in order. So I'd seen 1 before, but it'd been so many years I didn't really remember it.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to rewatch because sometimes you don't remember.
Yeah, I didn't remember a lot. I remembered some of it, but like not correctly. So, yeah.
Okay. I watched them all Well, except for Jigsaw, which is the 8th in the series.
That's impressive.
And
That's what it means to not have children.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's certainly helpful. But yeah, but I had seen them all before, so I was kind of rewatching. So I was also able to just kind of put them on while I was doing other things because I felt like I've already seen them. I'm kind of just refreshing myself on them.
Right.
So yeah, okay, so that's where we're at. That's just good information for later. So I'm going to start with the director is Darren Lynn Bousman, who did Saw 2, 3, and 4. Okay. He directed all of those. And then came back for this one, I believe. I don't think he's done any of the other ones. I'm just going to give you like a handful of cast because there were a lot of fucking people and I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to give you the top important people. So we have Samuel L. Jackson as Marcus Banks, Chris Rock as Detective Zeke Banks, Max Minghella, or Minghia, I'm not sure how you say that, as William Shank, and Marisol Nichols.
Handmaid's Tale.
Yes, yeah, he's from Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
He is, what's his name in Handmaid's Tale? It's Nick.
That's
Nick
right,
in Handmaid's Tale.
Yep.
And then we've got Marisol Nichols as Captain Angie Garza. So it's interesting on the scores because I feel like I've checked the scores like a handful of times over the last maybe week or 2 weeks. And I feel like they started really high and they just continue to go down, at least that I've seen. So IMDb has this at a 6.2 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 39%. And 86% of Google users liked this movie.
86% of Google users?
Yeah.
But only 30-something for...
Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So, but I feel like I've seen that Rotten Tomatoes score come like significantly down. I think it was up at like 80 or something, if I'm not mistaken. And then it seems like the more people that go and watch and review, the more it's getting pushed down.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Real quick, we're going to spoil this brand spanking new movie. So if you don't want it spoiled, turn back now, go see the movie, and then come back. And we cuss a lot. You probably already knew that. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, so we'll just jump in with 2 minutes with Tawny, super high level, just threw this together, so hang with me. But I think this tells you all you need to know, so tell me, Felicia, if you think I missed anything critical, okay?
Okay.
Detective Banks is shunned in the precinct for turning in a dirty cop. He gets a new rookie partner, Detective Shank, right before all hell breaks loose. Cops left and right get picked up and put into new Jigsaw traps, except Jigsaw is long dead. Banks finally finds out who's behind all this, his new partner Shank, who wants to team up with him to take out these rotten cops using Jigsaw's methodology. This is because the man who was killed by that dirty cop that Banks turned in earlier happens to be his father. He gives Banks a choice, him or his father, who was also a dirty cop, or was, I should say. Banks saves his father, allowing Shank to escape, but as he leaves the building, his father is killed via firing squad, and Shank gives him a little don't talk gesture, a little shush gesture, as he goes out of eyesight. So no one saw him go except for Banks. All right, so with all of that being said, we're fucking plowing through this. We're moving fast this week. Well, on this episode, this bonus episode. Felicia, how did you feel about this movie?
I'm sorry I'm being so quiet. I like just like listening.
No
I
worries.
think it feels that way because we talked so much 2 days ago. And so,
yes.
Okay, so how do I feel about this movie? Okay, so I didn't hate it. Like I didn't like it as much as Saw 1 and 2. Definitely not. But I didn't hate it. I watched it. My husband went with me. He didn't like it, but he liked it more than The Mist and Otis. Those are his benchmarks.
Not a raving review from him.
But I have to agree there was some things that I liked, and it's not like the acting was bad. It was almost like there was a part where either it was just the lines, like the script, or it felt like maybe it was just edited all together weird. Like that whole scene where his dad comes in, or his dad's in his house, And he's like, son, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'll have dinner tomorrow. And he leaves. There were points that just felt like disjointed. And I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
But Chris Rock, I mean, I thought, you know, he did a decent job for being, because we were talking about it, like, and me and my husband looked up, like, has he ever been in a serious movie? But, you know, I thought that he did a good job. But yeah, how did you feel about it?
Has he ever been in a serious movie?
No, there was like New Jack City, I think it's called, and there's one with Anthony Hopkins where we assumed maybe it was serious because Anthony Hopkins was in it, but maybe it wasn't.
Okay, I don't know, but I didn't look it up, so I was just curious. I think I'm on the same wavelength as you. I think I liked it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. It was just like, okay.
Yeah.
I felt like it did not surprise me, really.
Yeah.
I was like really expecting some sort of insane big twist because that's usually how they go. And I think it's because if you've heard anything about this movie, you've probably also heard that, like, on some level, this was Chris Rock's idea because he is a fan of the franchise and he, like, came to them with this idea. And for some reason, that led me to then believe that there was going to be some sort of, like, big twist, right? Mm-hmm. So I was prepared for that. And that's why I did want to go back and binge all the movies. I was like, something's going to come back. That's usually how they do it, right? They pull things in and weave it in when you didn't expect it and all of that. So I was like, I have to refamiliarize myself with all of these characters, like maybe who didn't die and, you know, who are they related to maybe or something. And it just like none of that happened, which is, I think, fine, actually. Yeah. Like, I don't hate the fact that it's not super tied into the original cast of people. I wasn't, like, mad about it. But I just thought there was going to be something more than what there was. And I just feel like we collectively as an audience all felt like, yeah, we know where this is going. I don't know if you guys felt that way, but...
Yeah, I'd have to say that's something I really loved about the Saws is that I didn't expect it. Well, the three I saw, I didn't expect it. And I was like, oh, shit. Oh, and I like how they wrap everything together and how I love all of that. And so this is fine that it was separate and it was like a new person. But like, for example, when he said, oh man, my phone's dead. Let me borrow your phone. To me, that stuck out like a sore thumb. I was like, oh shit, he's going to do something with his phone. Where the other Saws, I did not catch on. You know, I was along for the ride and then was like, oh shit. So there were things like that. There was things, I mean, I liked the tortures. Oh, it opened up so powerfully with that tongue.
I agree. I liked the opening trap. Yeah.
Oof.
It was gross.
That was so gross. And then, yeah, the wax was gross and the fingers. That was it, huh? They didn't do much else.
Yeah, there were like only like 4 or 5 that I can remember. There's the fingers, there's the tongue, there's the wax mask, and then you've got the final trap with his father. Mm-hmm. But that's not, I feel like it's, I don't know. That one, for some reason, doesn't compute for me. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a trap. I don't know.
The one where he's draining his blood?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't really get all this precinct or this Article 8 or whatever. Like, I was trying to understand. He was like, they were just going and killing people. Like, the cops were just killing people? Like, they were just killing people. Like, what does that mean? We're cleaning the streets. You're just killing people in the streets? Like, but then it was done. It was just,
yeah.
I did like how he got shot at by cops, because the whole theme throughout the movie was how the cops were shooting innocent people. So that was kind of cool that at the end he got shot up by cops.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, let's just go there because I don't want to bring it back around. I just felt like, if you're a whole SWAT team and you've been briefed on the situation, that there's like a jigsaw situation and there's all these traps and people are getting like rigged in, and you bust into a room and somebody's like literally wired up, I get that in the heat of the moment, you probably are not assessing all details of the situation, but that guy is clearly not pointing a gun at you of his own volition, right?
Yes, I agree.
But I guess they don't know also.
But then what would they do? Because what if the
gun could fire?
Is firing at people.
You don't know, I guess, yeah. But I just was like...
But if if it's that contraption, killing the dude is probably not going to stop it from firing at them.
Yeah, because it would be automated.
Oh,
anyway.
The glass.
The glass.
The glass.
The glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glass gun. I don't know what to call that. Glass shoot.
I thought it was really far-fetched that guy thought Chris Rock would want to join forces with him. Chris Rock. But like Detective Banks would want to join forces with him because that's the point. He's just such a good, honest guy. Or I don't know if he's a good guy, but he's an honest cop. Like, of course he's not going to want to do that.
I said that too. I was like, this guy even has a history of turning in dirty cops. Like, I get that you're trying to be like the not dirty cop. Like, you're like, oh, we're going to get the dirty cops, but you just became one. Why wouldn't he tell on you? So he's like on his way out and he's giving him the shush, like, don't tell on me. But it's like, what? What?
Yeah. So are they going to do number 2 and he decided not to and he's helping you catch people? Because that would be lame.
Right. Yeah. It just didn't seem in his character. I mean, I could be on board for that. Like, I just want to say I could be on board for that plot. But Chris Rock, as we keep calling him just by his real name, Detective Banks, you're right that doesn't feel in his character. So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he even tried to rescue that one guy, that shot the dad of that boy. So, I don't know, he got glass in his face and everything to help that guy.
Yeah.
I would have been like, dude, he's screwed.
This, I like, yeah, I know. Oh, sorry. This whole thing is like, seems very misguided to me. Like, I like how we're just going for the jugular right now at this movie, but fuck it, here we are. I didn't like how any of this worked, kind of. Like, this is kind of one of my, I think, main problems with it, is that he, like, what's the thought process here? He even says to Banks, he's like, oh yeah, we'll, use this as a methodology to clean up a whole system, which I liked. You had me there. And then he's like, we'll just take like a finger here or there and we'll totally revamp the system. And I was like, wait a minute, what? I mean, I don't think so. Like, I just don't think that's, I don't think the intended outcome is going to be what you think it's going to be. In the original movies, you have this setup where it's like people who are terrible or like not always super terrible. It was kind of gray sometimes, but people who had like done negative things or didn't value their life that then had to fight for their life, that's why they're transformed on the other side of it. But now you're going to take like dirty cops and you're going to put them in a situation where they might die and then they're going to survive. Does that automatically mean that they're not dirty cops? I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it just didn't seem to connect the same way for me.
Yeah,
I didn't get it. And then on top of that, he's like, oh, you're going to help me. I'm going to recruit you into my, like, catching bad cops and killing them thing. And on top of all this, the traps didn't even seem winnable. So, like, what are we actually trying to accomplish here? Is this not even an option? Is surviving them not an option? Is it supposed to be so scary that you're just scaring cops out of being dirty cops? I don't know. I just felt myself being, like, confused by all of that.
Yeah, because that guy with the fingers, he clamped down. He only released
for like a half
a second, and still it wasn't. I mean, it takes a little while to rip the fingers off like that with those, and you're right, you're absolutely right. And then the other one with the wax. Yeah. She was supposed to like sever her spinal cord. She might not live that.
That's what I was thinking too. That seems like you would die, or at the very, like, I don't know, maybe you'd be okay, but the two likely outcomes seems like either you'd die or you'd become completely paralyzed.
Yeah.
So that seems like too much of a, like normally the games are rigged in a way where it's like you definitely have to make some sort of sacrifice. You definitely have to, like, I don't know, hurt. You have to lose an arm or something, right? Like you're going to lose something, but it's not going to be like, oh, I might die. That's kind of how I felt about the tongue thing too. Like I was like,
No way that he's going to be able to rip his whole fucking tongue out of his throat and everything and just like walk away?
And yeah, and would you survive that? It doesn't seem
No
like
way.
it.
Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't fucking seem like it.
The fingers, at least I could get on board with, like, okay, you probably don't have any like major arteries. Like if you just lost your fingers, you'd probably make it to somewhere in time to get there, but there was no time for him.
Yeah.
The glass one seemed to be the most survivable, but for whatever reason, that guy seems to die so fast. I was like, what? He's dead?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And so it seemed like the whole thing was like rigged against them.
Yeah.
And then why traps to be even? I don't know. It just was like kidnap him and kill him or something. I don't know.
Why do what? What'd you say? Why trap?
I'm just saying, what's the point of the whole traps to begin with?
Yeah, he's not doing it right. You know, it was really hard with Chris Rock's character in the beginning as well, because when she said, I'll make him the lead detective, I was like, she shouldn't have did that, because no one respects him and he doesn't respect anybody else either. Then though, as it went down the line, you could really see why he was so bitter. So I like that. I like that about the Saws, where they show you those glimpses of the past. So like you're on the same page with what, people are doing and stuff like that. That was pretty shitty. Like how those guys let him get shot and stuff.
Yeah, that was fucked up. And then, yeah, I did like all of this. I liked the whole dynamic of the precinct and how they, interacted and stuff. I liked that. I liked the angle and the backstory about that. That made it really interesting and made it feel less like a Saw movie, I guess. Like it was, I read somewhere else that somebody described it as more of like a murder mystery thriller rather than a true Saw movie, which is more like torture porn horror category. Mm-hmm. So I liked that part of it. That was fine for me.
Yeah, me too. Yep, I liked the little packages. I liked, when it was Charlie's arm, I went, oh, it's Charlie. And then I was like, I wonder if that's really Charlie's arm.
Me too. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, oh wait, no.
Oh no, oh wait.
Maybe it's not him. And I still didn't know exactly what was happening, but I thought I don't think that's him. Because you also don't see him die on screen, and they show everybody else die on screen. So.
Yeah.
You're like, he alive. Like, don't.
Who is the guy I missed?
Try.
Who was the guy that got skinned then, that he tattooed?
I think that was the guy from the very beginning who ran into the subway.
Oh, the drug guy that stole the purse.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
How did you feel about Chris Rock and his acting?
I thought he did a good job. And I think that's because I was coming in with a lot of doubt, because I've only seen him in funny stuff. So, in the beginning, he has that tone he has, like the way he talks. It's a lot like when he's in his stand-up. But I thought like when she died, when the head of the cops died, that he was walking down the hall and they had that shot of him, like he looked like he was breaking. I was like, how much more can you fucking take? Like, how much more can you take? This is insane. So I thought he did a good job. What did you think? I mean, it wasn't like he shouldn't get an Academy Award or anything, but I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't love it. I feel like I have a really hard time with people who are traditionally in comedic roles, like, and then they go in to do something, or even that I have experienced them in comedic roles before, and now I'm supposed to take them super seriously. Like, I have a really hard time with it.
Yeah.
So I think I had probably a harder time than other people, maybe. And it took me a long time. It took me maybe half the movie to like let go and get into the movie, because every delivery was like funny to me. And even when they would show his face, he'd have his eyes open a little extra wide, and it would kind of make me laugh. Like, I was like, okay, I know you're trying to be serious, but I'm. And there were jokes.
There were funny
beginning.
lines in there. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that was good, but I just couldn't take him seriously for the first like half of the movie. Even when he was trying to be very serious, I was like, it's not connecting for me. But towards the back half of the movie, I was able to get into it, but I just didn't. I just felt like maybe they could have found someone less known, like. But to be fair, I mean, like all of the Saw movies, it's not like they're, and rewatching through them, the acting is fucking rough sometimes. Like
that first Saw, that doctor.
Yes, so
I was
rough.
like, man, come on.
I know.
He's so weird. Is he the Saw guy? Because he's just so bizarre.
Yeah, because he like can't even get on board with him. Both of them are not great, but
yeah.
The other one, I mean, I think it's so low budget. That's the thing about the first one is it's like they just, got whoever they could in there, and the other person is Lee Winnell. I'm pretty sure the writer, one of the writers. So
okay.
Because Lee Winnell and James Wan made it, so James Wan directed the first one, and Lee Winnell was Adam. And then
he was Adam. Okay, the Princess Bride was the other guy.
Carrie Ills, I think is, I don't know how you say
the
it.
Blonde
Ills?
dude, the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's rough. And even like later into the movies, you've got some not great acting, but I don't know. I had a hard time with it. And I know other people seem to think he did pretty well. And I think he did well eventually. It just took me so fucking long to disconnect from I'm watching Chris Rock. Yeah.
I think I went in thinking, this is not going to work out. So when he started, I was like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like lowering your expectations. The trailer set me up to be really nervous. I was like, I don't like the trailer.
This is the first one I did not watch a trailer for.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So you came in completely fresh.
Completely fresh. I had no idea what was going to go on.
You should now go back and watch it. Because it's just Chris Rock, like, screaming a lot. Like, he's just like, where is everybody? He's like, I need everybody. Like, I need everybody on this. I can't, what was that line? I can't trust anybody on the force. Like, it's just him yelling constantly. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't connect. I think especially, too, in the scene where he's sitting there talking to the dead detective's wife, didn't click. I was oh, this is not doing it for me. I don't know. But there also were a lot of times I felt like in this movie that you could tell they must have gone back to do some like ADR because they're like, you could tell their lips weren't matching up with what they were saying. And
shoot.
I was like, oh shit. I wonder if they cut or changed such a significant amount that they had to like Frankenstein some shit together, which might not have helped the acting, especially in that scene.
Yeah, it was the first one that really hit. It was just kind of like felt pieced together. And that one scene where his door is ajar and he goes in and his dad's there. And he goes in and his dad's there and there's just like this interaction. And then he's like, all right, I'll leave. I'm going to go pay my respects. Come over for dinner tomorrow. I looked at my husband. I'm like, what is that all about? That was there so that Chris Rock, Detective Banks, would go to his dad's house the next day and his dad wouldn't be there. That's all that was. But they were like, well, we can't just do that. We have to throw some other dialogue in there.
Right, yeah, or something. And it did feel very fast. Like, the whole movie to me felt super fast-paced. Like, we never got a moment to fucking breathe. Which is kind of a problem because you want to be able to settle with whatever just happened. Even the traps and stuff that are supposed to be really crazy and impactful. It's just like, we just run through everything.
Yeah, I think that's, you hit the nail on the head with, it was going so fast. And then they were like, oh shit, we should explain this. And then like threw in something to kind of explain this and then keep going.
I did read that, according to the director, a trap containing someone getting their face cut off had to be cut from the film in order for it to receive an R rating from the MPAA, and previous edits had only been coming back at an NC-17. So I do wonder how much is cut, right? Like how many deleted scenes there are. That kind of explains some stuff, because there are a couple moments where you're like, wait, what is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the other Saws? Are they all rated R?
I think they're all R. Yeah.
And they had to remove someone getting their face ripped off for an R rating?
Isn't that weird? Because I feel like this one is significantly less gory.
Yeah, 100%.
Than the rest.
100%.
Yes. There's a little bit, just a little. But actually, the most impactful gory part for me was when he was fucking with that guy's broken leg. It was outside of a trap completely. And he was like tinking it with the like glass bottle. I was like, oh God.
I was the same. When he started pouring alcohol, I was like, oh my God. And my husband looked at me, he's like, that's freaking you out? And I'm like, oh, he's hitting it. Yeah, I agree. The tongue and the broken leg. Because the tongue was pretty gross. Those were the worst for me. The other ones, like, well, the fingers were gross. The glass was, I mean, it was like, oh shit, that's crazy. Like, why do they even have that thing where
I know
pushes glass out like that? The blood thing was just weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't get it either. It was just.
I didn't get it. It was, I don't know.
You know what I didn't like about these traps? Getting into that. Let me just keep talking shit about this movie. I didn't hate it at all, I swear to God. But this is where we started. I didn't like how sometimes it wasn't super easy to understand what the fuck was going on. Like, I feel like one of the strengths of the older Saw movies are you get what the fuck is happening, like, immediately. Yeah. Like, they show you shots. They're like, over the, him talking over the tape, right? So he's like, you have a device strapped to your neck. There's a lock. And you'll have to find the key. And to find the key, you'll have to do blah, blah, blah in 60 minutes or else the cord will snap shut. And they do a good job of being like, showing you like really quick fucking edit shots. Yeah. It's fucking chaotic, but you get it. You're like, collar, strap, blades, got it. If you don't grab that key by the time this timer runs out, you're going to get your fucking head chopped off. Like, that is what it is. Yeah. But I felt like these traps, I kept being like, wait, what? I was like, oh, his tongue is in that thing? He has to jump off that platform to pull out his own tongue? Oh, I guess they said that, your body weight will pull out the tongue, but then where does he go? Does he even have a place to go? Like, I couldn't, there was too many fucking questions every time. Yeah. And even the second guy was like, oh yeah, close your mouth. I'm like, oh, you're controlling that with your mouth? That seems weird. Because you would obviously scream. I don't know. It just was like, I just couldn't figure him out sometimes. So the blood one, it was like, okay, he's draining him of his blood?
I thought that was the worst one. It was just weird.
I agree. It was my least favorite. I don't know which one was my favorite, but I think that one was my least favorite.
Yeah, because it looked like he was just like a superhero creation or something up there with all that blood coming out of him. It was weird.
Very weird. At least the wax mask was very straightforward. It was like, oh, I get it. Okay, you're going to burn your fucking face off and probably choke to death on this, hot wax. Or you're going to sever your spine. Like, that was pretty clear. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, okay, exactly. Got it. Thank you.
Oh, shoot. So what was your favorite? I'd have to say for me that it's the tongue. It was gross. It was so fucking gross. But yeah, then once he was out of it and you saw like the roots of the tongue, or I don't know what it is at the end of the tongue. It's a huge, massive flesh at the end of your tongue. There's just no way you would have survived that. People get their tongue cut off, but I don't think completely ripped and then they live.
Right. Yeah. Out of your tongue. And also the force of pulling that out. Like, I mean, you do have your jugular vein in your neck. Like, what if you severed that just by sheer force? You'd bleed out super fast.
So disgusting. But it was really disgusting and disturbing. That's why.
That's why I think that was one of my favorites too. I liked that one a lot, and I liked the finger one just because of how, like, I don't know, classically Saw it felt more than some of the other ones, I should say. Mm-hmm. But I didn't like the finger one because it felt so stupid. Like, I was like, what the fuck is that on your fingers? Jade and I were talking, we were like, no way. Like, your skin would give before your muscles and shit gave. Because it doesn't look like there's anything underneath the skin. It just were these, like, little nets that were holding onto his fingers. So, like, your fingers would get degloved before your actual hand started to tear apart. So that one just felt like, I don't know, improbable.
It reminded me of those Chinese What is it called? You know that you put your fingers in the tube, and then when you try to pull your fingers out, they don't come out.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Oh shoot, I
Finger
forgot.
trap.
Yeah, it's like a little. But
Yeah.
you're right. It probably would rip off your skin and stuff before totally from back here.
Yeah, into
detaching
your actual
your fingers.
hand. So I agree. I think the tongue was my favorite too, just because it felt very classic. That one felt very classic Saw. I liked that it was right off in the beginning. I like when they start with a trap, and then that subway comes through and fucking hits that guy. Like it just was very.
Oh, it was so good.
We just started off with a bang, and I liked it.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts as far as as we were going through the movie? Did you have any other theories that you were working off of?
At first I thought, maybe it was one of those cops. Okay, so at first I thought it was one of those cops only because they didn't come off right off the bat. Well, I guess he did. He yelled about, I don't trust anyone in the precinct. But it wasn't very clear to me why, because they didn't have the whole history that we get later. And so they were acting real off. And I'm like, well, it's obviously one of them. And then when the guy, Nick, it's not Nick,
Shank.
I was going to say Scar. Shank. Said, hey, let me use your phone. I thought that's weird. I wonder if it's him. But that, I think, if I think back, I think it might have popped into my head. Maybe it's his dad, but I didn't really think so. That was it, though.
Okay.
I thought, are they going to really turn this thing around? It's going to be Chris Rock. Chris Rock. Because one of them says that, about him because he has beef with that guy, but...
Yeah, I thought that too. I had 18,000 possibilities all the way through the movie. I was like, is it these cops? Is it this cop? Is it that one? Because they were acting so suspicious. I was just constantly like, oh, fuck, they're acting so worried. It's definitely them. And then I was like, what if it's the fucking, head detective, the Marisol lady? What's her name? I don't remember. Angie, I think is her name. I'm like, is it her? Is it his dad? Is it Chris Rock? Are we going to come full circle? And he's getting these fucking dirty cops because he can't get them in the system. I had a lot of thoughts, but even before we went into the movie, I wondered, is this going to tie into some of the old movies? So let me tell you something, just a little trivia. This said an early iteration of the script had Rock's character related to Danny Glover's David Tapp from the first film. Do you remember him?
Tapp. Yes, I do. Yep.
Yes. Stolberg and Goldfinger, the writers, opted not to go in this direction as it didn't pass the smell test, quote unquote. I don't really know what that means to them, but I was thinking, oh, this is going to tie back in somehow. Yeah. And I was excited for that, and it just didn't happen. Again, I'm glad it wasn't the same cast, the same people, whatever. It felt fresh in that way, but just I wanted something. I wanted some sort of extra tie-in to the original franchise.
Was it just the saw?
What do you mean?
His hand?
Yeah.
From the very, very first one. Okay, first of all, when he picked up that saw, Chris Rock, and put it to his wrist, I was like, don't go there yet. You haven't listened to the tape. Wait, there's a tape. It's going to tell you something. Let's fucking calm down. Don't saw off your arm yet. Let's see what it says.
I was thinking that too. I was like, it felt very fan service to me. I was like, okay, we're gonna look like we're gonna cut the arm off, but we're not gonna do it. And then there's conveniently a bobby pin.
Yeah, there's a bobby pin right there. Thank God you didn't start cutting your arm off, for Christ's sake.
Right, I know. And also get a fucking tourniquet on that bitch. What the fuck are you talking about? You're just gonna cut off your arm? No way.
And I know that they wake up, and if you're strapped, you're gonna start fighting. But I'm just telling you, stay still, because you might do something that triggers the fucking timer and shit. You guys know about this killer. You're cops.
I know, yeah. But that does happen through the entire series. The entire series of movies, people panic and get up and unwatch something. And every time I see it, I'm like, you fucking idiot. But I would definitely do that. I would definitely be that panicked, oh my God, what's happening? Yeah, and I would. Yeah, you'd at least
try to pull your arms. Yeah.
Ugh.
This isn't this one, but one thing with the one Saw where he put a key behind the guy's eye and the guy had to try to cut that out, I don't think I would have been able to either. I don't think I would have been able to pop my eyeball out. I think I would have died.
Was it behind the eye?
Yeah, it was behind his eye.
I don't know.
Would you have been able to do that, you think? Cut your eyeball off?
Behind the eye? Yeah, I guess it depends on what I don't remember this specific trap for some reason. What did he have?
Like, he had this, wasn't he the one with the mask that had all the nails sticking out of it?
Oh.
And then they surgically...
This is coming back to me.
There was a key for it, but they surgically put it behind his eye.
Yeah.
And there was a scalpel, and he had to cut his eyeball out to get the key to take the thing off.
A scalpel. A scalpel? Probably not. I think I would want to do it, but I don't know if I'd have the ability.
Yeah, I think same with me.
But that's what I like about the original Saw games, is that you think, that's a hefty trade-off. Could I do it? And I think the question, or the answer is always like, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. But it also feels doable. It feels like I could do this and survive. Whatever the game is, whatever the trap is. These ones were like, sever my spinal cord?
Yeah.
What? Why? Why would I do that?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, you know what else stuck out as a sore thumb for me? Was when he said, oh yeah, that your father is the whole reason why I'm doing this. I was like, what does that mean? Just right from the beginning, I was like, what? Because they hadn't shown anything that he had done that was like remarkably, successful or anything like that. Like, so I was like, okay, that's weird. And it came back way later. He was like, your father's the whole reason why I'm doing this. We get like 8 cuts and it's like, because he put in the Article 8 and cops were just killing people like random. And then that guy killed my dad. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, because that guy killed his dad isn't it because his dad saw a cop doing something bad? So Article 8 was kill everybody so cops can do bad things? It's just weird.
I don't think we know exactly what it was, but I got the impression it was like if cops killed people, they had some level of
protection.
Yeah. And that's why he killed it, because he was like, are you willing to testify to that? And he said, yeah. And that's when he shot him. But yeah. Jade had a good point too. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. But the guy, I think his name is Fink. Maybe? Something like that. That he's the one who is like immediately suspect. He's got the cut on his face.
Yeah.
And he went and shot that guy who just flipped him off in the car.
Yeah.
Shocking. That was like also one of the other more shocking things in this movie. I was like, oh my fucking God. Sometimes more than He
flipped him off? Is that why? Okay, I was going to say that was... Okay, it makes more sense now. I thought that was so... I didn't like it because the guy put his hands out. I didn't see him flip him off. And then all of a sudden this guy shoots him and I'm like, that's just, I don't know. But
you're like, why?
He still shouldn't have shot him, but at least there was a trigger for him to lose his asshole temper. Versus it seemed like just a guy just putting his hands out like, hey, I'm cool. And he's like, nah, fuck it. I want to kill you. That's why I was like, what? But if he flipped him off and then he was like, fuck you and killed him. Okay. Which he shouldn't have done. But at least it didn't seem so weird.
Yeah, totally. No, I get what you're saying. And I think I was also very confused because in the movie, another thing that I had a major problem with is this new voice. Solely because I had a hard time understanding what it was saying. Yeah. And so the voice I thought said, like, you killed someone who simply, I thought they said assaulted you. Assaulted you. So I'm waiting for the person to get out of the car and assault them. So I wasn't really watching super clearly. And then he just shoots the person. And I was like, what the fuck? I also had the same experience. And then I was like reading through quotes or something. And I think it said insulted you. And that's when I put 2 and 2 together. I think that person put their hands out, and instead of being like up and out like this, I think they were flipping him the bird, and he just shot him.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So then Jade was like, it should have just been his trigger finger or something, so that it's like a little bit more poetic instead of just all the fingers in a way. I don't know. That was, I think, a missed opportunity.
Yeah. I did like that he was going to pull off his fingers because he had never shoot a gun again. So that was, I liked how that played together. But yeah, you're right. Could have just been his trigger finger. Wouldn't have been as bad though.
True. And you can just probably pull a trigger with a different finger.
Would be hard. But still,
you'd have to learn.
You have this one, and he's like, ah, and it's just going.
True. Not as impactful.
Yeah, it might be just like, just yank your arm, buddy. Just get out of there. It's one finger. Just come on.
Take it off.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But I could not fucking understand what that voice was saying. I was like, what? I was constantly like, what did I say to Jade in the movie theater? What?
What is he saying? Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the voice either. I like the pig mask. It's scary.
Oh, God. Can I tell you one other thing? Like one last complaint, maybe? Until
course.
I have more complaints. Was how many times they did a jump scare on the, I'm going to grab you with a bag over your face. I was like, by the fifth time this happened, I was like, come on, though. I don't even hate jump scares. I'm not like a jump scare hater. But I'm like, okay, fucking 6 times already, though? Can we be done with it? And it was so fucking loud.
Like it's constant, yes.
I was like, I don't need to have a heart attack, okay? Just tell me the story. God damn it.
I agree with that. I totally agree. So when Detective Banks said, meet me down in the cold case files, this confused me. So I went, oh, it's because that guy has his phone. Let me rewind. When the head of the cops, Angie got the text from Banks saying, meet me down in the cold case file room, I thought, oh, here we go. He's using his phone. Because I was tying it together. I was like, oh, here we go. I knew it. He took his phone and now he's using it to get her down there. But then Chris Rock is on his phone throughout the whole entire movie.
I think it was his dad. I think it was his dad's phone to Angie.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Because he would have had his dad's phone. Okay. Because then at the end, it was like, no, he used that to text his dad to go to that place. Which, okay, because when his dad went to that place, and then there was another shot of him at another place, I was like, what is he doing? Like, what is this? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's what they intended, but it was also confusing. And also, here's another question. I'm like, I get that this guy, by the end of the movie, you realize he's a cop. But, like, how the fuck are you in and out? How the fuck did you get in there with this trap, this, place? She has to lay down in this trap and it pours wax on her head. I'm like, how the fuck did you get that in there without
how did
detected?
You create the trap in the cold case place?
Or you'd have to create it somewhere outside the cold case file room and bring it in, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. How did you get that in there? That's a really good point.
I was like, are you a ghost? What the fuck kind of...
Is it because it's cold cases? No one goes down there, so...
Maybe.
No way, dude.
The long con.
Did you bring it into, like, little tiny pieces? Yeah. Every day you brought in a new piece. Every day. No, maybe. Because you just started there. He just started there. Yeah, he was new. Well,
yeah, maybe. Yeah. I could buy that, but...
Little piece by piece. Brought in a bolt today. This project's going to take a lot longer than I thought.
No big deal. Just bringing in gallons of wax. Don't mind me. I'm going to use this later. For candles? I actually have a candle side hustle. That's what I do. So I'm just storing it down here because it's cold.
Just one candle at a time.
Right. Yeah. It smells bad down here. We need to freshen it up. Bringing in candles. Oh my God.
That's a really good point, though. It makes no sense.
I was like, this place is it has a safe door.
Yeah.
It's like blocked off from everybody.
How did he know even what the code was to open the safe door?
I mean, I think he probably has access because he's on the force. right? Like that did that part. The fact that
Chris
he could
Rock
get
was
in,
yelling at that woman to open it.
oh, when it was closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I assumed it's probably open during business hours or whatever, and it just got closed because it was triggered to close when she was trapped in there. So many questions.
So many questions.
So many things. Something that I liked, though, I mean, this movie looked great. The cinematography was fantastic. And I loved the colors. I feel like they really like leaned into actually the opposite end of the color wheel. I feel like from the original Saws, which tend to be very like blue, green, yellow. Like they're very like this sick color scheme. And I feel like here we went so warm. It was so like orange, at least a lot of the time, right? Like, especially with Chris Rock and the precinct and all of that, it was so like orange and pink. And I really liked that.
There were several times where I was like, ooh, I like that. Like when he was going into his dad's apartment and it was filming from above, you know, and then the ground and in. I loved that. Me and Steve both thought there's something in the bag of food.
Oh,
we thought there was something. I was waiting for something to happen with that food. And it didn't. But I thought it was going to. But yeah, there was a lot of scenes like that where I thought, wow, that's really pretty. Those apartments were nice.
Yeah, they were neat, weren't they?
Yeah,
like
they were
brick.
cool. Like all brick and wood.
I liked his car too, his like old school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was fun.
So in the beginning, I guess I'm kind of confused. He's not a dirty cop, but he stole all that money and killed those guys and was trying to get away.
He was undercover, is what I got from that.
Mm.
So he wasn't a dirty cop in that way.
But he didn't arrest anybody. He just stole the drugs and the money and left.
Yeah, and then all those people come in, remember? And then after that, he's having this conversation. He's like, they're like, there was like 4 people, something that we were going to get. And he's like, yeah, and we could have gotten more if my cover wasn't blown. So my interpretation of that was he's doing like a long con undercover situation, whereas they just came in too fast for him to continue on.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Him, I feel like these scenes, though, are some of my favorite scenes.
Oh my gosh, his Forrest Gump conversation
so
was
great.
Cracking me up. Yes, that was so good.
Me too. Very funny. He was, and I just felt like it was reminiscent of like old buddy cop drama movies. It felt sort of at the same time that it felt fresh for a Saw movie, it felt nostalgic in a good way from older, cop movies, I guess. And so the excitement of him like going around and doing shit, in the beginning, and then after that he goes to this drug dealer's house and it's like all exciting. Like I liked all of that, and that vibe I thought really lended itself well to this movie. I liked that it felt that way. And the music, the whole modern vibe of it, I liked.
Yeah, I agree.
God, can we talk about what's his name? Nick Shank. Max. This guy's fucking great. I mean, just so good at acting.
Yeah, it's not his fault that his plan was bunk. That's not his fault.
Totally. Totally not his fault.
Really good acting. You just immediately like him, and I really liked him as well. I thought he was really good.
I think he did a really good job too of like flipping between like rookie cop and then master plan guy. I was like, yes, I buy both of these just immediately. He's so good.
He is so good. I totally agree.
That was a fantastic choice, casting wise.
Yeah. So is he going to be all the next Jigsaw guy?
I don't know. I did read that in April, this is a long one, so stick with me here. In April 2021, a sequel film titled Saw X was confirmed to be in development with Twisted Pictures. However, Bousman, the director, stated that it was a premature announcement that surprised him and the film's producers. He said, "Just because we made a Spiral doesn't mean Saw ceases to exist. Just because Spiral is here, that doesn't mean there won't be a Saw 9. This is not the 9th film in the Saw franchise. There easily could be a Saw 9 that follows Jigsaw. And I also read that they're in talks for a TV series.
Based on Spiral?
Yeah.
Huh.
So who knows what happens from here.
Yeah, it was good.
The other thing that I saw somebody say in defense of this movie is when you do think about like the number of chapters that this movie is in this franchise, it is the 9th movie. You know, like we are 9 deep into this franchise. And this movie is far better than any other 9th movie that I could ever think of ever.
Yeah, it's better than a lot of number 2 movies.
Totally. Totally. So, like, I know we just shit a bunch on this, probably, and there were a lot of problems with it. But overall, I really didn't hate it, honestly. And I think the fact that we're, like, so far into a franchise and it was able to kind of revitalize and bring some freshness to this was good. I liked that.
I agree. I totally agree.
Last thing that I'll just say as far as trivia goes, I haven't found much else about this, so I'd love to know if you know more about the story of how this came to be. Please send it our way. But according to Chris Rock, the origins of Spiral came from a chance meeting with the vice chairman of Lionsgate, Michael Burns, at a friend's wedding in Brazil. And he felt doing something in the horror genre would be a new avenue to take his career, though he planned to include some comedic elements in the film. Rock approached Lionsgate with his ideas of extending the franchise, and then they became very interested in the concept, and they put him in as I think, executive producer and a writer on the movie.
Very cool. Good for him.
Yeah.
Chasing
what a
down
weird
his dreams.
thing. You're like, okay, Chris Rock.
Yeah,
You love Saw?
I want to be in Saw. I love Saw.
I just didn't see that coming, but I mean, great. Welcome.
Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family, Chris.
Yes.
You know what is the most horrifying thing is to wake up and hear that voice go, "Hello, Felicia Connor," or whatever it is, and you're like, fuck, I'm caught by this jigsaw saw person, and I'm going to have to maim myself. You immediately know, you don't know what you need to do, but immediately you're like, shit, not me. Ah, shit.
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
Terrifying. I was wondering, there's got to be a whole new generation of people who this is going to be their first Saw movie in theaters. And what just a fun ride. I think I saw the first Saw in theaters. I think I've said that before, but I was like literally 12 or like 13. I don't know how that happened. Somebody let me do that. I don't know. I'm glad they did because I liked it, obviously, but yeah.
That's great. Oh, I wish I would have. It's a good franchise. We've got to do all the movies because I want to talk about them.
We will. At some point, we will have to do that, yeah. So, what would you rate this movie?
All right, so I think, I don't know, it feels kind of high, but then when I think about my other scores, and then I started to think about, we haven't talked about them yet, but the other Saws that I have seen and like where I would rank them, I think I'm going to give this a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 3 because I'm looking at like The Dark and the Wicked. Poor Dark and the Wicked. It's another one of my bad mood movies. And Cabin Fever, which were a 2.9 because that was the other. Maybe I would just give it a 2.9. But no, I think I enjoyed this, and I think I was pleasantly surprised with what I was anticipating. There was definitely some gaps. My husband would be shocked that I gave it that score, but yeah, I think I'd give it a 3.
Okay. All right. I think I would give this a 3.5.
Oh, nice. Okay, I thought you were going to be like, what, Felicia, 3?
No, because, I mean, again, I feel like most of our episode we were talking like shit about it, like we were saying negative things, but overall I really didn't hate it. I liked it. It was a fun like experience. It was a fun movie theater experience. There just were a couple things that I found myself questioning. But again, I think there really has to be something said for the fact that this is the 9th installment in a franchise, and it has like no right to be this good. Like
Yes.
as that stands just alone. So it felt refreshed. It felt, revitalized in that way. So I'm going to go with 3.5, which is also what I gave Trick or Treat and Veronica. And I think I like it on that same level. I think it's worth a watch. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as I do my 4s, which I hold in high regard.
Yeah, the 4s are good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was looking at some because I gave Hostel 3.25. So I was like, oh, I think I liked Hostel more. So based on the scores that I had, I liked Wicker Man more.
Really? I think Wicker Man was the one other one that I gave a 3.5.
Yes. It just sounds so funny because they're so different.
They are.
But okay, awesome. And I want to pre-apologize. I was low on the speech just because I'm not feeling well, but I hope that I didn't bore the hell out of you.
I felt like it was a good discussion. Hopefully everybody else feels that way.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun movie.
Yeah. It was really great to go and see a Saw movie in the theater. Like, more than anything, I was like stoked to just do that again.
Yeah, my husband, I was like, I'm so sorry. I was so sick yesterday, and you just, I was in bed and you were alone had to take care of everything. And I just do this thing. It's just like a joke. And I'm like, oh, I hope you still love me. And he goes, I am sitting on a Sunday afternoon in a theater. I hate being in the theater, and I don't like horror movies. So, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you love me.
Obviously.
But he Saw though, so whatever. Yeah, so please find us on all of our social media. Our main hub is Instagram. We are at 2 Chicks in a Horror Flick everywhere in the social media universe, except for Twitter. We are 2 Chicks HF. And yeah, what else, Tawny?
You can support the show on Patreon, or you can also leave us a rating and review. That is super helpful to have people see us get ranked higher. And you can also join our Discord, which is where we post extra links and stuff from the show and just have, horror conversation in general. So definitely join us over there. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Go watch Spiral.
Yeah, go see it in theaters. God knows it needs some help. Jesus, nobody was in our theaters. But that's it for this bonus episode. We didn't super plan on this, so this is a little extra. And we hope you have such a good night. No nightmares.